think that we should begin.
Great. Well, welcome everybody. We really appreciate you taking the time tonight to hear about this exciting program we're going to be launching this September. Just a few housekeeping items to run through. First is that the presenters will have our cameras and microphones on. We do have a formal presentation and time for questions at the end. You can at any time put questions in the chat throughout the presentation, and we will try to answer as many as possible at the end. So a few introductions of our team tonight. My name is Lisa Davis. I'm the co-founder of both STEM Innovation Academy in Calgary and STEM Collegiate in Edmonton. I grew up in Edmonton. I attended the University of Alberta. I have a background in commercial real estate and venture capital, and really became interested in what was happening in education about 10 years ago. I was elected in 2017 to the board of the Calgary Board of Education, which is the fourth largest school board in the country. I've got 2 teenage children, so have been through the process and seen what works and what doesn't work. And really are here because we just want to create a future for our kids that we could only dream of. I'd like to introduce Leanna Pelt, who is our superintendent. And Leanna, do you want to tell people a little bit about yourself?
You bet. Thank you so much, Lisa, and good evening and welcome. Thank you all for attending this presentation. So yes, my name is Leanna Pelt, and I have spent the great majority of 23-year career as an educator here in Alberta. I've been a principal at the elementary, junior high, and high school level, and have experience opening schools offering alternative and specialized programming. I also hold a PhD in educational research from the University of Calgary, and I'm ultra excited to be part of Lisa's team and entrusted with the opening of the STEM Collegiate in Edmonton. And by the end of our presentation, I think you're going to be as inspired as I am about this unique educational opportunity for your children. So do enjoy.
Thank you. And I'd now like to introduce Cheryl Watson. Many of you will have been talking to Cheryl over the last several weeks. She's our chief connector. Cheryl has a very long history in Edmonton on the innovation side, where she's been a leader in innovation and diversification for the last several years. She's also going to be running our presentation tonight, so I think she's going to sign off so she can focus on her making sure that we can answer as many of your questions throughout the presentation. So just a little bit about why we started this. I think it's clear that we are in the midst of a once in a generational shift to a more digital and technology driven economy. And that includes Alberta and all of our industries. We have a lot of really exciting opportunities in front of us, some significant investments that have been made and are going to be made. And I think what really hits home is that we really are in a global race for talent. There are other countries, other provinces that are making these investments as well. And as a parent, I know that what is been the status quo just isn't going to work for our children to prepare them for the future. And I think we'll have Leanna talk a little bit about the vision. If you can, sorry, Cheryl, you're correct. We'll go back to the slide. So what we're doing here in Edmonton really builds on the work that we've started in Calgary, which is the STEM Innovation Academy. And that was founded in 2020, and we opened our doors in last September to 448 students, which we were full with a long waiting list. I think that we have definitely hit an important sweet spot for parents and students who, in many cases, are looking for some additional challenge that they're not getting in their current program. We expanded this September to grade 10 and are in the process of finalizing our final high school location, where we'll have 900 students here as well. And so one of the things we really like about having schools in both Edmonton and Calgary is a core part of our charter is the working directly both with post-secondaries, institutions, and industry. And so our students in both cities will really have access to the full breadth of talent, innovation, and exciting developments that are happening all over the province. And that is very unique and something that just isn't available with other school boards.
So when we look at the vision of the Edmonton STEM Collegiate, it is not just mere words. We are looking to be a premier learning community of the advancement of both innovation and design in science, technology, engineering, and math. And it would be an entirely new concept for a charter school in Edmonton. Our goals are very much linked to our program delivery model and the whole way that we see education as preparing students for entry into post-secondary studies, where they can not only enter and have strong skills, but also be successful when they're there. So the structure of the educational programming that your children will receive will have those goals in mind. And also be training for those habits of mind that we all require in an ever-changing world where technology and innovation must merge together in rapid ways. So exposing students to that as part of our goals and vision is essential. If you want to review them later, you can.
A few quick facts about charter schools. They've been around for over 25 years in Alberta. Alberta is the only province in the country that has them, so very unique. And charter schools were really developed to drive innovation in the educational system. And this has happened throughout the last 25 years, where not only have the practices that charter schools have established have been adopted by other boards, but they've also encouraged other boards to offer more variety of programming. They've been very popular. There's 10,000 students with another 20,000 on the waiting lists. And these waiting lists are there because of the high quality that charter schools have delivered, not only through the uniqueness of their program, but also through the academic achievements that they have consistently been above the provincial averages. Our school is accessible to all students. We don't have a minimum entry requirement. What we ask is that you have an interest in STEM, and that interest will be nurtured with us. Charter schools have the same accountability as every other public board around student achievement and financial reporting. But we also have some additional responsibilities that the other boards don't have in terms of meeting these specific charter goals. And so in many ways, charter schools have greater accountability to the minister than the other public boards do. And ultimately, our greatest accountability is to parents. So if we do a good job, parents make us their choice. If we don't, charter schools wouldn't survive. So you're entering into a very high quality program. And then the collegiate is something unique in that it's an academically oriented school with the goal of preparing students for post-secondary admission and success at higher education institutions. And one of the ways that we do that is by providing students with wide access to a breadth of technology and STEM topics, so they can develop a base of skills and develop an understanding as to what areas they're interested in beyond grade 12, and that they're prepared for success in their first year of post-secondary. So there's a few things that make our school different to other schools. And the first is our leading edge programming. And by design, we've built into this consultation with industry and post-secondary. So we have a technology advisory committee there where we have broad representation by a variety of industry and post-secondary institutions, where we share with them our proposed programming. We talk about what is new and exciting, what are some of the skills our students need, and then what are some of the innovative technologies coming that we should be using to inspire our students about. Because we're small, we're very nimble and innovative. And we take a look at every option course we offer every year. We evaluate it, did it meet our goals? And if changes are needed, we make changes. And it's a very small team that does that. So you get this very real-time feedback and development that typically doesn't happen in education. I think, as folks are probably aware, most of our curriculum is more than 20 years old. And so in our world, it gets refreshed and reviewed every year. And I think the other thing that's very important for parents is we do not rely on fundraising or donations for our equipment and materials. And so STEM programs can be the nature of the equipment and the materials required is an investment. But because we're able to put more money into the schools than the large boards are, because we're small and we have very small overhead, we're able to provide a high level of service without relying on parents for fundraising or donations.
One of the other important differences that we want parents to be aware of is around the academic excellence led by exemplary teachers. So we know that you have choice, and certainly in Edmonton, there are different choices available depending on where you live, and as well as alternatives to what we are going to offer. One of the things that is important for you to know as a parent is that regardless of whether it's a charter, public, Catholic, or private, all students in the province of Alberta write the same exams. One of the important data points that you can look at, and these are all publicly available, is the grade 9 results on the provincial achievement test, PATs. And specifically, it would be good to look at the results in math and science. So the table in front of you shows the STEM is the results at our Calgary site after only a year of operation. And you can see that particularly the scores of excellence. So 40% of the students in the academy, the STEM Academy in Calgary, scored above an acceptable range, as opposed to the province at 20%. And then you can see the comparisons there with Edmonton Public, as well as a STEM program that the Edmonton Public School District is offering. Similarly with science, we're very proud that the grade 9 students in Calgary, there were 95% acceptable and 51% excellent, as opposed to 19% excellent in the STEM program offered by the Edmonton Public Board. The other thing that's important to note about the structure of the programs is that teachers are hired in specific subjects of which they have both knowledge and skills and training. Oftentimes, that is not something that can be guaranteed in other schools, primarily just because of the way they're organized, or just the focus is different. And so we really prioritize hiring teachers and putting them in assignments that they are both qualified and excited and skilled to teach. And that's part of the reason that these results are as amazing as they are. And we look forward to seeing these results for years to come. And so as you consider, it's important to know that that data exists and is readily available for you. As well, assessment and reporting is something that is taken very seriously. It's important to parents. It's important for students to know where they sit. So in terms of the way that reporting is done, we do use percentages for all grade levels. If your child is not yet in grade 7, there is a different grading structure used for Edmonton Public. They do use percentages in the grade 10, 11, and 12, but we use percentages right beginning in grade 7. There are also midterms and final exams in each course. We also have consistency between teachers, meaning that if you get a test in with one science teacher at a grade level and a friend has a different teacher at the same grade level, you are going to be having the same evaluations, so as to allow for collaboration, as well for greater consistency and validity and reliability in those scores. There are formal and informal assessments throughout each semester, but more importantly, students are getting feedback regularly so they know where they sit in terms of the outcomes of the programs of study, as well as some of the enhanced goals that we have here at the STEM program. High school students are required to complete a capstone project. It's still in its formation, and there is going to be quite an emphasis on connecting to our goal for links to industry and post-secondary in terms of the outcomes for those projects. Also, communication of achievement to parents is very important. We have a program called Schoology, and if you're aware, all school boards use different kinds of interfaces to communicate, web-based. And so you'll find that we have learning materials, updates, and feedback to students posted on Schoology. There's also written report card comments that are written with parents and students in mind so that they're understandable and that you get a true sense of where your child sits in relation to the program of studies and what they need to advance next. There are formal conferences in October and March, and there will be written report cards sent home at the end of each semester, at the end of semester 1 in January and semester 2 in June. Also, we understand that you may need to contact teachers and that it's important you get a response. So teachers generally respond to messages within 24 hours during school days, and you can expect the same from your administrators and other members of the support team. We are here for you and for your students, and we want you to feel connected to the community, and to know what is going on with your child's learning is very important. And so that is one of our main goals, and something that as a team we work very carefully on. Our team in Calgary has already established a robust way of communication that we will be following as part of the STEM Edmonton Collegiate.
We have a few photos here we'd like to show you, because there's definitely will be some similarities with how we'll develop the space in Edmonton. So we see here a photo that says Alberta's first MIT Fab Lab. As many of you know, the MIT is the #1 university in the world. It's ranked #1, very well known for technology and innovation. And they have this really innovative program called Fab Lab, which is short for Digital Fabrication Labs. And what's really unique about it is that when we join this program, we all share the same kinds of equipment. And what it allows us to do is to collaborate with other students and schools in other countries around the world. So there's over 1,000 of these Fab Labs in over 100 countries. So a student in India can upload a project that we can pull down and replicate in our lab here. We can collaborate with students in Norway, South Africa, South America. It's really quite an exciting program, and it does really expand our students' horizons. Similarly, you see here, we've got a picture, you can kind of see that there are 3D print rooms. So here we have about 15 3D printers of a variety of different kinds, the same kinds that are used at the universities, some resin printers, so that can do very fine work. And so one of the things as we look to having our students experience this equipment is we need to have enough of it so that students have multiple opportunities in order to be able to develop their skills and explore their designs through hands-on fabrication. Another thing to mention is this Future Ready lecture series that we have started, which has been very popular. We have an innovator from industry or post-secondary come in once a month to talk to students about, the newest and coolest developments that are happening. We've had a couple of young presenters, students in university who have done some amazing things. We have seasoned entrepreneurs, and we have people who have worked for and developed biomedical engineering type of projects. So again, just some really important things that we do that really ties the real world into your child's learning.
And I actually had the privilege of being at our Calgary location last week and saw one of the speakers at noon, and the students all asking really engaging questions and just being inspired by not only what that individual had achieved in science, research, and technology, but just their personal story, and hearing the kids connect with that individual was just truly remarkable. And I think it's wonderful to have innovators from outside come into our schools, and that's wonderful. One of the things that is unique, it's something that our Calgary team met with me about and told me is very important, is the 7 key foundations. So really, as mentioned previously, we're looking to prepare future ready leaders. And there has been quite a bit of data to come forward from our industry and post-secondary institutions, and they really want to give a clear message to K-12 education in terms of what we're facing, not only provincially and as a country, but globally. We really need to prepare innovative and adaptive leaders, but as well, students need very strong skills and in math and science upon entry in higher education. And so that is something that we are paying attention to and is really important as you consider which school you are going to send your child to. We're looking to teach a mindset that links to excellence in teaching and learning. So once again, we have teachers who are subject matter experts and who are really looking to foster those habits of mind that will allow the students to carry and be successful in post-secondary study habits, ways to approach problems, working as a group, working as an individual, how to work through difficult things. All of this is explicitly taught as part of the methodology so that students can learn it within the classroom and they can bring that all through life. So we look at designing, teaching, thinking, and learning. Of course, every school in the province of Alberta is required to teach the Alberta Program of Studies, which of course we do, but we go beyond it. We do extensions. We have extra instructional time devoted to mathematics and science as part of our programming so that we can get very deep and very rich into the subject matter so students truly understand not only the basics, but how to apply it and beyond. We use data to inform and drive instruction, meaning that we have to understand where our students are starting. Kids all come in at different starting places, regardless of whether their birth dates are around the same time. And so it's important that we know our students and that we move them ahead from where they are. So we use formal and informal assessments, and those are clearly communicated to parents and to students so that they understand what they need to learn, where to go next. And once they know something, what are the next steps to extend their learning? And we do this all based on valid and reliable research in the field of education, as well as the feedback that we're getting from industry and post-secondary as to the readiness of the students. So these are the final 3 of the 7 key foundations. So once again, I think you're picking up the theme that the industry partnerships and global focus really does set us apart from the other options that you may have. And we are looking at fostering those habits of mind so students see themselves as part of a global ecosystem. Another key thing is the way that our collegiate will view parents and guardians is very much as partners. We know that you're very important stakeholders and you need a say, and that we need collaborative and open communications, and that you bring a lot to the table in terms of us understanding your child. So we want an open door policy. Call us when there's a problem. We will deal with it. We want you to feel very at home and connected to our staff, and we work very hard to do that. As well, the character, communal, and curiosity is something that is foundational to the culture, not only amongst students, but amongst staff and our families. So high standards of how we treat each other, both in good times and in bad, when we have problems and when things are really fun. And we like to honor diverse backgrounds, and we welcome different points of view and feedback. It's an open place where people should be feeling free to be themselves, as well as to learn from others. So as in all junior highs, so grades 7 to 9 are required to offer the core curriculum, and we will be offering core curriculum every day, which is not always the format in other schools, as well as physical education and health. Our option courses are STEM based, and so there'll be a slide later on showing you that. So we don't have the traditional option courses of a junior high, such as drama or music. We definitely really focus on science, technology, engineering, and math-based options. I have been at the Calgary location, and it's amazing to see how engaged students are, how connected they are to their projects. And just as Lisa was mentioning, the technology that the students have available is truly world-class, and that will be replicated at our Edmonton site. It is certainly not a bunch of kids all coming around one computer to do a project. project. Students have very clear goals, and they are working on things not only connected to what they learn in their core curriculum, but innovative, very cool things that keep them coming back and excited about their options. Students do get to pick options from the menu, and based on our numbers, we will offer as many as we can. Of course, as we grow, we will be able to offer increasing options for your children. So that's one of the things to be aware of. So there's the table. So Lisa, I'll turn it over to you.
So we have kind of 4 strands that we pursue. So if we take a look at grade 7 in the design and fabrication, this is where we really infuse students into what the design process is, that design thinking. They're given a specific project to work on that they can take the idea, they can design a product, and then they can use our laser cutters, our 3D printers, our tabletop CNC machines, all of that kind of hands-on equipment in order to bring their design to life. When we talk about things like programming, we do it very differently. There's, you know, my son took a what I would call a traditional programming course where they did things like, you know, create a random number generator. We're a little different. And so what we do, for example, in a course like this, last year we designed a pinball game where students had to not only design the housing of the game, they had to design all the electronics. They used a multitude of sensors to make it work, and, you know, again, bring that fabrication to life. And so one of the great things we can do here, we often get questions from parents that say, well, my child doesn't have any experience in any of this. Is that a problem? And one of the really wonderful things about the way we do this program is that students can work at their own pace. So in this programming this game, we might have some students who are new and they're using Scratch. We might have other students who are very advanced and they're using Python. And so our instructors are able to meet our students where they're at and continue to advance them at the pace that they're ready to be at. So, you know, for those parents who students perhaps don't find enough challenge, our programs are specifically set up so that your child can advance at their own pace. So on the digital media side, we have this introduction to content creation. So this is things like creating graphics, using digital photography, creating content for virtual reality. And if you look in grade 8 and 9, we start to use this base of skills that they have to start to expand into other ideas. So in architectural technologies, there's so many really interesting developments taking place in construction and design industries. So our students learn about that. They learn about efficient and effective building design. Our biomedical engineering is a very popular course we introduced this year. It's particularly among girls. My daughter's actually in biomedical engineering at university. 80% of her class is girls. So it's a huge area of interest for girls, and in the biological sciences and the medicine and the vet medicine is going to be an area we will be developing courses in the next 2 years as well. So we start to move through grade 8 and grade 9, and as you can see, students start to be able to pick from a broader range of things that they think they're interested in. You know, in Marketplace, we have our own mini Dragon's Den where students get to take their business idea and create a business plan around that, and then participate in making a pitch. So there's a lot of things in here for students to explore, find the things that they're interested in, and then as we go into the higher grades, to further specialize in as well. So I'd encourage you to go to this our website here, the STEMinnovationacademy.com and this STEMiajournal.ca. I know your students and your children are very interested to see what life might look like for them. What are some of the specific things they might be doing? We have a number of projects and blogs that are on there. So it's just a great example to see how this comes alive actually in the school and in the classroom. So,
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead, Leanne.
Nope, you're right, Lisa, it's you.
So we were, just some general information. We are in year one, starting grade 7 to 9. We can max out at about 100 in each grade. We do have daily core subjects, and I think as Leanna mentioned, it's really important to note we do far more minutes in math and English than we're required to. And we do that because those two subjects are so important to the future success of your students. Our options are semestered, so students get to explore a particular option, and if they don't love it, they're not connected to it the next semester. And if they do love it, they can further expand down that train of thought the next semester as well. We do have a daily homeroom where students connect in with their homeroom teacher. And for those students who may need some additional support in some areas that they're struggling with, we have our, it's called the Hub, it's our Learning Support Center. So students are able to go in there and work more one-on-one with a resource specialist and fill in those gaps. Now we are a bring your own device school. We do have specifications that we will be emailing out to you. It's not, we discourage things like Google Chromebook because they tend to be fairly low end, but they're, we're really looking just for kind of enough power and computing ability for the day-to-day tasks. For any specialized software, we'll have a full Mac lab, and we have computers on site where we have very software that has very high demand. So we have both. And then in terms of transportation, there's two options for parents actually, and we'll speak about it a little bit farther, but we will be offered charter yellow busing within the city limits. Or there also is funding available if you're eligible if you provide your own transportation for your student.
So as mentioned, because it is a different type of programming delivery, you might be wondering, well, do you have athletics or are there clubs? And so extracurricular clubs will be based on student interest. There are a wide variety of clubs being offered at both of our Calgary sites at this time. And you can see the list there. And it's always really based on what students want to do. And so some of the perhaps traditional options like art or yearbook, things that are offered in traditional junior high settings, we can offer as clubs, and all students are welcome there. We also have regular athletics. Our academy in Calgary competes against other schools as they would in a regular junior high school, and so you can look forward to that. And yes, these are all things that you can expect, and teachers are sponsoring these activities and involved, and the students are supervised during that time. So we'll have to see what your kids are interested in, and then we'll go from there out in Edmonton. It'll be wonderful. So we do have an anticipated bell structure, knowing that it will depend on transportation as well as other factors such as student numbers on what we end up doing exactly with the times. But we are looking to align as much as possible with the Edmonton Public School calendar, as we know that you may have children in lower grades or upper grades, and coordinating as a family is important. So every effort will be made to do that. That is what we do in our Calgary schools. So we're looking at, approximately an 8:30 start, approximately a 3:30 finish with a short lunch. If you have a child currently in grade 6 or lower, you will notice that the lunch hour is quite short. That is very typical in a junior high and high school. I will tell you as a school administrator, that is key to a school's success. They must be short and sweet, or things happen at the lunchtime that you don't want. And for those of you with older students, you probably see that your schools have shortened lunch times as well as compared to an elementary structure. So there are 6 periods a day, which is one of the ways that we are able to offer daily core instruction in the subjects each day. And that is important, as well as linear math. All the cores are offered year round, which is not always a given depending on the school's structure, but that is the best way to prepare students for their exams and for the rigor that will be required to enter into STEM fields in post-secondary. So there is a school fee of $175. So that covers materials and incidental things that you might need in your option classes. So some school board structure things that you pay per class. So if your child takes robotics, you pay a fee. If they take band, you pay a fee, and they're all different. Ours is a flat fee that covers everything so that you don't have to patch that together, and then each semester that would cover both semesters. What it doesn't cover is just any supplies such as, pencils, pens, papers, and of course, the bring your own device is the responsibility of our families. So as Lisa mentioned, we're looking at offering charter yellow bus service. And it's important to know that the actual fee, we'd love to be able to tell you what that is, but it will depend on how many riders, where they live, and how far the transportation needs to go. So please be, just be aware that it's not door-to-door service, and parents may be required to drive their children to the bus stop if it's too far to walk. There is other charter schools in Edmonton, and we are looking to be in the range. So if you look at other charter school yellow bus fees, they're approximately $900 a year, and we're anticipating being around that number. But of course, it will depend on how many students and where they live and how far. And so, of course, the more students there are, the lower the fees are. Just because you can put more students on that bus. The other option that Lisa had mentioned is there is funding. So if you live more than 2.4 kilometers of the school site, you can be eligible to access $550 annually. And that is to cover some of the costs that you're incurring as a family to transport your child to and from school. The other part to note is that we do have a uniform or relaxed uniform. So at STEM Collegiate, it is going to be a top only, so the students can wear whatever they like as terms of footwear and jackets and pants, skirts on the bottoms. However, on the top, it will be a STEM Collegiate Edmonton logoed either t-shirt or sweatshirt, and we have zip-up hoodies and all of that at our Calgary location, and we're just looking to finalize that for Edmonton. So it shouldn't be a very big cost, but that is a cost that parents will have to incur. The students in Calgary really enjoy that the uniform is not formal and comfy and cozy, and allows them to work and play and feel at home in their school clothes.
So just a note on kind of steps from here. We do have room for about 100 students in each grade. Our plan is to add high school at this site initially, and we're currently in discussions with the department over a permanent high school site as well. So we are asking that if you are interested to register with all the documentation requested by the 27th. We will, if necessary, do the lottery and we'll communicate with parents back on February 10th. It's just important to note, we do prioritize siblings for future registration. So we do really feel it's important to keep siblings together. So if your student is already in the program and you have a younger sibling coming up the next year, they will have priority access to the available spots. We do accept students from Edmonton and beyond those bedroom communities, but we wouldn't provide busing outside of the city proper. So just in order, once you've accepted your spot with us, we will be invoicing you for a portion of the fees with the balance due in August. And because we know it's always exciting to check out the school in person, we will be offering an in-person open house on Wednesday, February 15th at 6:30. So we will be there. Obviously, the renovations will be occurring between, we'll start the following week and we'll be finished in August. But it will get you a sense of just the quality of the building and the space. I think it's fair to say we have unique space here in Calgary as well. It feels more like a tech company, honestly, than an institution. It's something that kids are pretty excited about, and we've noticed they treat their space differently. So same thing here. This was the head office for, it's quite nice space. And of course, we will be building, there's no gym on site today, but we will be building a gym in the parking lot in the back. So very same amenities as any other school, and with the advantage of it being relatively new. So I think we're at the question and answer session or time. So if Cheryl, if there are any questions you would like to pass along to us, we'd be happy to answer them.
Great. Let me just say I've been watching the chats, and a lot of the questions that I've seen in the chat have been answered during your presentation. So amazing job, very thorough. But I do have a couple of things that we didn't cover that I think are important. And the first one is related to curriculum. And so, Leanna, I'm going to go to you for this question. There's curiosity about AP or pre-AP programs and how the STEM Collegiate program compares to that type of academic.
A great question. So one of the things that is important to note is that AP is not a requirement to enter Canadian universities. It is something that is more for universities in the United States. So it is an add-on that we have chosen not to add at this time because we are offering such a robust and enhanced curriculum already, particularly obviously in math and science. And so the goal really is to have high marks and to have a great foundation in math and science so that our students can explore those careers that require those kinds of skills in their post-secondary selection. So AP is a different kind of a program than we're offering. And once again, it is not something that is required at the university entrance level, nor is it looked at as an advantage for Canadian institutions. So that's the reason behind the AP and what we offer that's different.
Thanks, Leanna.
And I think if I could just add to that, the IB program is an international program. So again, if your child's going to Europe, then you know it would be relevant. So one of the things we are doing at the high school level is we have an honors academies, and these honors academies, we have a biology honors program and a math honors program, and we do anticipate expanding those to the other subjects as well. And so the honors math program really came about out of work I did actually with some U of A math professors. And they graphed some data that was really alarming, and they showed that 10 years ago, the average mark of the calculus midterm, so this calculus course was a required course taken by all first-year engineering students. 10 years ago, the average was 70%. Today, that average is 55%. Same prof, same course. And so what we have seen is this degradation in achievement. And so what we're doing is we have a math advisory committee comprised of U of A and U of C profs, along with senior high school educators, to design a Math 3031 honors program that really gets to the heart of what's missing to help these students be successful in first year. So again, we go back to that. Not only do we want for your child to get into the post-secondary program of their choice, but that they're successful when they get there. Mm-hmm. And so back to Leanna's point, the reality is in Alberta, less than 10% of students actually write their AP exams. So it's not a program that is important for post-secondaries. If you have IB or AP, it does not show up on your high school transcript. So our focus instead is to work directly with the post-secondaries to fill in those gaps. Similarly, on our honors biology program, it's a program that's more geared towards students who are interested in medicine. And so again, we're working with the university faculties to develop that enhancement to the Biology 20 and 30 program so that those students who wish for that additional challenge have that opportunity for additional challenge. So our honors academies are similar to the AP and IB in that they offer additional challenge if that's what your student is interested in. Our difference is they are directly tied to what is currently happening in post-secondaries. And that is not the same as the AP and IB courses, many of which are, the curriculum is more than 10 years old.
Hey, thank you, Lisa. While I have you, can I ask, Lisa, if you have ideas on class sizes?
Yeah, so we expect to be in the range of 25, 26 for our core classes. Options classes may vary a little bit just depending on kind of the interest level and the timetable. But the core class sizes will be 25 to 26 at the junior high level, and they will be capped at 30 at the high school level.
Hey, thank you. Leanna, can you explain how this lottery process works in ongoing years? So right now we're over capacity. We're imagining we're going to be over capacity. And so students that participate and get in, when they continue on to the next grade, do they have to take do they participate in another lottery process the next year?
Great question. No, once you get in the initial lottery, it's continual registration until you complete grade 12. So there's no need for families to worry about not being admitted for the following year. And Lisa had mentioned previously that if you do have younger siblings that would be joining an elder sibling in our program, they would get priority as part of the lottery process. And there are timelines and dates that we will work so that families know when they're in, but siblings will be prioritized so that families can stay together as long as possible. As we know, Lisa and I from experience, having kids all in different places can be very challenging, and sometimes you can't avoid it with the age spread. And so all of the deadlines will be posted each year and done in a transparent way, and we get back to people as soon as possible because we know that you have organizational and scheduling things as families as well. And I don't know if there's anything else to add about the lottery process, Lisa.
No, that was great.
So Leanna, just a clarification, when we're solving for families and the complexity of that, you're talking about siblings within the same household, not necessarily cousins and so on.
That's correct. It's siblings
Thank
within
you.
the same household. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There's curiosity, Lisa, about pre-registrations. And so maybe you can just answer that question. Do parents have an opportunity if they have children in grade 5 or grade 4 now? Can they start applying now?
So we generally take registrations 1 year out. And so what we would encourage families who have younger siblings or sort of who are younger grades than what we're offering, we generally send out that request for registrations in September the year prior. So we would just encourage those folks, if you haven't already, to sign up on the Keep Me Informed list, and we'll make sure you get those notices.
Great, thank you. There's also some questions about supports for special learning needs, ADHD, dyslexia. How's that handled in the school? Lisa,
Sure.
why don't you answer that one? Sorry.
Sure. Yeah, so I think, so we have a diverse student group and, by design. So we do feel that students have all their unique successes, and our goal is to help them reach success in every area as much as possible. So one of the things that we do, and we goes back to that data informed process, is we do assessments for every student that enters the program. And so we do a global assessment for everybody, and then where we think students might have some gaps, we do more specialized assessments. And we work with those students to overcome those specific challenges. So you may have students, for example, who have need to work on their have lower working memory, have trouble remembering kind of some certain facts or get overwhelmed. So we have certain strategies that we work with that. And that's where we pull these students out into the hub to work with that resource teacher, that learning specialist, to help them ensure that they get the assistance that they need in order to be successful and ensure they're at grade level and they remain at grade level.
Okay, thank you. Let me just check to see if I've got other questions for you. I think that some of the questions maybe I'll answer in the wrap up. And so I want to just respect all the parents' time. And so we are coming to close. So maybe I'll pass it over to you, Lisa, to provide any final thoughts, final comments. Then we'll go to Leanna, and then I'm going to talk about some specific administration stuff at the end.
Sure. Well, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming tonight and for your interest in the program. I think we're really at the beginning of something special and unique. That 10 and 20 years from now, we'll be able to look back and point to where this all started. And so we really encourage you to come by the open house in person on the 15th, and would love to talk to you more specifically one-on-one about any of the questions or information you're looking for.
And I too want to say thank you to all of you for joining us this evening. I do have experience opening a program up, and those parents and families who are in the inaugural year are a special group. And so I look forward to meeting you all on February 15th on our open house in person, and seeing all your smiling faces and getting to know you, because I have lifelong relationships with some of those parents and children who are now not children anymore of a school that I opened. It's very energizing to be part of something exciting with so much promise, and it comes at such a needed time in the global economy and for our province. So I'm just hopeful that I see you all there. One final comment: there was a slide that was up with links to some of the projects and goings on at our school in Calgary. And so I think it's really important that if you're wondering if your child's a good fit, this information is great, but I would encourage you to have your child explore the website and see, hey, what's their reaction when they see the kinds of projects that the students are doing in Calgary? Does that engage them? Or like, wow, I want to know more? Or are they more like, oh, that's not really my thing? Because that's really important, that you have a child who is curious and that really has sort of an underlying interest in these kinds of things. So I'm just going to repeat again. It's at www.steminnovationacademy, all one word, .com. And then the www.STEMIA-journals.ca. And there are examples there for you to explore with your child as you make these important decisions. And yes, for those of you who are going to come to the open house, I will see you on the 15th.
Great. I'm going to answer a couple of quick questions about the registration application process. When you submit your completed application, you will receive an email back that confirms your application has been received. Don't worry if you're missing any information. We're going to come and track you down, and we're going to let you know that you're missing information. So step one, make sure that you receive an email back. And then once you get that email back, you can rest assured that your application has been received. And we have a lady that's assessing all of the applications, scrutinizing them to make sure that we have all the information that we require. But the most important thing is you get that email back. There's been questions around communications related to the registration, and there are 2 fields in the registration process where you can put both parents' names and both parents' email addresses. So rest assured that both parents have communication going forward. We will be releasing this Zoom recording link. And so if people want to go back and really listen to it again, if they might have missed something, or they want to share it with their partners or with their children, you will have that opportunity. So next steps are before the end of this week, probably tomorrow, I'm going to send an email summarizing the registration process steps and all of the dates. I'm going to include a link to this recording. I'm also going to put the links in that Leanna mentioned to STEM Innovation Academy again, so you can get just a bit more of an immersive experience into what day-to-day life looks like, and probably will be very similar to Edmonton. And then I know there's a couple of you that have put your questions back in the chat here, and I'm sorry we didn't get time to ask in more detail around the curriculum, but I would encourage you then to go to the open house, and that'll give you an opportunity to talk with Leanna a little bit more about day-to-day curriculum. And I think that that's probably the best opportunity to get into those specific questions. So I'm going to wrap us here. I'm going to thank everyone so much for giving us this time. It's been a great evening. We will send you again, summary of deadlines and dates and this recording. So everyone have a really great night, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.